Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In today's video, we are doing an unboxing and first look at these brand new Elite Wheels VELO 6-disc wheels. So in this video, guys, we're going to be going over the specs, the weight, some of the details on these wheels, and then we'll take these wheels out on the road so I can give you some of my first initial impressions on them. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the specs on these Elite Wheels VELO 6-disc wheels. Wow, that is a mouthful. So obviously looking at the appearance of these, we have 6 tapered bladed spokes. Now, I'm not going to go into any of the engineering or designing on these wheels because that is not my area of expertise. So I don't know if these bladed spokes are bonded to the rim or if the whole entire wheel itself is comes out of just sort of a monocoque design. But the idea with having these 6 bladed tapered spokes is there's a couple implications here. So the most obvious one is being that they are this super thick spoked wheels, they should be very, very stiff out on the road, which means you should have fantastic power transfer when you're putting down the power. Of course, that does come at the expense of a little bit of comfort. Another thing too is that being that there's only 6 spokes, even though these are very thick bladed spokes, they should be pretty decent in the crosswind, which will be interesting to check out. Now, as far as the actual specs on the wheels itself, so we have a depth of 50 millimeters for the rim itself. The internal width is 21 millimeters. The external width on these is 28 millimeters, which means they should be optimized for both 25C and 28C tires. For myself, I probably would have preferred to see a 30 millimeter external width on these wheels, but being that I have now used 2 separate sets of Elite Drive wheels using the same specs as far as the internal width and the external width, they work very well for 28C tires. And as you guys can see, these rims come tubeless ready, and it's a nice touch by Elite to include the tubeless valves already installed. And the actual valve cap also serves as a dual purpose. One, of course, to cover up the valve, but you can actually use this valve cover to remove the valve core if for whatever reason you need to swap out the tubeless valves. Moving on to the Freehub. Oh my goodness, I have a prediction that this is going to be the loudest, most obnoxious Freehub that I've ever tested. But they are using your standard old DT Swiss style of ratchet design. I believe it's 36 tooth, but the way it sounds, it might actually be 54. I have to double check. But I really prefer this style of Freehub because it's very easy to maintain. Of course, you can upgrade the ratchet internals if you want more engagement as well, versus your standard 3 or 4 paw design that you've seen in the Elite Drive wheels. Now, rather than use tubeless tape, as you can see, Elite wheels opted for the design to basically design the wheels to not have any spoke holes at all. So it does make it a little bit tricky if you need to do any sort of service with the wheels. But I do prefer this style over using tubeless tape because one of the benefits of this is it makes it a little bit easier to install and remove the tire for mounting purposes. Going back to the Freehub and just bearings, at this price point, now these retail for $1,299 USD at the time of this video. And so with this, you also do get ceramic bearings as well. Now, as far as what else is included with the wheels, now obviously there's not going to be any sort of spare spokes because of, I mean, obviously the design and stuff, but you do get this nice little information sheet to go along with it that kind of lets you know what's included on it. So it's a nice touch from Elite Wheels. Obviously, there aren't really any moving parts or things to break that you need to replace. So if there are any issues with the wheel, essentially you would have to send the whole entire wheel back to Elite in order for them to service the rim. I'm coming. I'm coming out. Yo, shout out to Diana Ross. This Diana LP is a banger. We got such classic hits on there as I'm Coming Out, Upside Down. My wife really likes that song, Upside Down. But anyway, let's go ahead and do a real world weight test on these Elite wheels, VELO 6-disc wheels. So first, we're going to weigh out the rear wheel. All right. Rear wheel is 846 grams. 846 grams. Now, let's weigh out the front wheel. Now, I have went ahead and removed the tubeless valves. So this should be pretty accurate. For the front wheel, we have 779 grams, which gives us a grand total for, 1,625 grams. So let's continue. Just the overall presentation of these wheels with this high gloss finish. I know this isn't going to be a style and aesthetic for everyone, but if you are someone that's interested in a 6-spoke design such as these, having them be gloss makes a lot of sense, because obviously you are clearly looking to stand out from the crowd of other traditional styled rims. So Elite Wheels did a really good job with the way that these wheels look at a first glance. I would say they are just a cut above their Elite Drive line of wheels, and so I am really excited to check these out and get these mounted on my bike. So just to reiterate, guys, the 3 takeaways for this set of wheels is, one is that they're going to be very, very stiff, which means excellent power transfer. 2, because of the 6 bladed tapered spoke design, that means that they should handle pretty well in the crosswind. And 3, because there are only 6 spokes, that means that they should be a little bit more aerodynamic than, say, your 21 or 28 spoke lace wheels. Now that we've done a high level breakdown on these Elite Wheels VELO 6 disc wheels, the next thing to do is to get them mounted and installed on my Yishan R086D bike that you see. Now, I've already done a full review on this bike, and I basically said that this is the best cheap or affordable frame that you can buy in the market today based on what I've tested. Now, the only thing is I'm running a SRAM Axis ETAP setup with XDR wheels, and the wheels that I got from Elite Wheels is for a Shimano hub. So I am just going to have to run a Shimano 12-speed cassette on these, but it shouldn't be a problem because I'm not going to be using these for sprinting, just for demonstration purposes. I just need to have some sort of a 12-speed cassette on the rear. So let's go ahead and get these installed, and then we'll see how they look on my Yishan frame set. Freehub sound test on these Elite Wheels VELO 6 disc with a 36 tooth ratchet engagement. Oh my God, holy. Oh my God, that is the loudest Freehub I've ever heard in my entire life. Let's continue. All right, guys, we just got done with our almost 50 miles today, but man, it was a super cruddy, wet and rainy day. Man, my wife is going to kill me. My freaking Yishan R086D frame set is trashed. Super duper trash. It's gonna take me a long time to clean all this up, but yo, let me just briefly talk about these wheels really quickly because I'm about to pee my pants. But anyway, a couple of things was very surprising with these wheels. Now, number one, honestly, I thought I was going to absolutely hate these wheels, but these things are a freaking riot. These wheels are off the chain. They are awesome. Number one is I thought they were going to be very stiff, like harsh, like really harsh ride, but they are surprisingly comfortable. They really soak up bumps very well. Now, for my weight, I'm running about 78 PSI in the front, and then in the rear, I'm running about 80 PSI, give or take. 28C Continental GP5000 tires, and that's based on my weight and also the 21 millimeter internal width on these wheels. So they soak up bumps fantastic. It's crazy. And I'm also running latex inner tubes as well, so that probably has something to do with it, but they soak up bumps very well. The ride is very firm, but it's not harsh. When you are out of the saddle, you can definitely feel the responsiveness of the wheels, but somehow, despite the fact that they're so responsive, they're not harsh at all. It's crazy. Another thing is I've noticed in the cycling industry, we are apparently no longer allowed to use the term "it holds its speed very well." I guess there's not really any scientific data to back that up, but I will say that when you are at cruising speeds, they're very comfortable and they just flow. They just flow. The wheels they're really good. Now, this is just the first ride today. Very, very crappy ride, 50 miles. But so far, I am surprised how much I like these wheels. I'm surprised how much I like just the way that they feel over bumps when you're out of the saddle. The tire pressure that I'm running, really, really good. So kudos to Elite Wheels. You guys have a really good set of wheels, and it's nice to see something different on the market right now, especially for a lot of these Chinese and Far East brands. Everyone is basically all doing the same thing. You have your traditional carbon spokes, either 21 or 24 spoke wheels, you know, ceramic bearings, all this stuff. So it's really cool to see something really, really different on the market, especially at this price point. When I look at these wheels, they remind me of when I was a kid back in the 80s. If you are 80s baby like me, you remember the old school GT Performer bikes with the mag wheels. So these wheels remind me of those old school mag wheels from the 80s, but everything about these wheels so far, I think they are amazing. Now, I will have a code in the link or link down below where you can receive, I believe it's 15% off your purchase from Elite Wheels. But yeah, guys, these wheels are really, really awesome. I can't say much about, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. They're off the chain. So as always, guys, questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below, and I'm gonna check you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.